Okay, students, a very good morning to all of you. I hope you're all doing fine there. So today we are going to continue our revision for your SPM, still on Chapter 1, Form 4, Safety Equipment in Laboratory. So those who missed the online classes yesterday, I hope you can watch the video recorded on yesterday's lesson where I have discussed the first part of this revision on Chapter 1, on paper 1, 10 objective questions, and also for paper 2, 2 questions on section B. Okay, so without any further ado, let's continue our revision today with section C. Here you can see question number 3 on my screen. Can you see my screen, students? Does it appear to you? And can you hear me clearly? Okay, so I hope you can respond actively to this discussion. So it's to test your understanding on this chapter as well. Okay, let us continue with question 3 here. Still, method of disposal of biological waste. Okay, so you can read from the question, disposal of biological waste in the laboratory need to be carried out based on standard operating procedure. Okay, to avoid harm to the environment and humans. Okay, I hope you know what SOP is. We are also now in SOP for COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, so normally every single thing we do in our daily life, there is a procedure or standard operating procedure that we must obey and follow. Okay, for the sake of goodness for everyone, for our environment. So the question here, what is meant by biological waste substance? Okay, anyone? What is meant by biological substance? So this is an essay question. Later in the SPM examination, you have to answer this in an additional paper. Kamu kena tulis dalam kertas tambahan, okay, dalam kertas kosong, kertas tulis yang akan dibekalkan oleh pengawas. Okay. So what is meant by biological waste substance? Students, anyone? This question tests your construct on remembering, mengingat. Okay, anyone, boys and girls, what is meant by biological waste substance? Okay, you may refer to your module or notes or exercise book or workbook for Form 4 on this chapter. Okay, it's all written there. What is meant by biological waste substance? Okay, anyone would like to try? Okay, good morning to those who are just joining us. We are now discussing question on part C, question number 3, disposal of biological waste in the laboratory. Okay, again, anyone, what is meant by biological waste substance? Cuba rujuk buku kamu, cuba cari jawapan and you can share your answer here. Okay. Jangan tunggu jawapan saja, cuba cari jawapan. Put an effort to search for the answer on what is meant by biological waste substance. Okay. Ben Swan, want to give a try? Li Wei, Ji Swan, Henry, Ji Ying, Zeyi, Fang Sun. What do you say? Kesuan, Yusuan, Hui Shuang, Ong Sinru, Ong Jiyu, Chu Jing, Sinru, Sini, Jiyun, Junjie. Okay, as usual. Okay, anybody knows what is meant by biological waste substance? Okay, kamu cuba jawab dulu before I share to you the answer. Anyone? What is meant by biological waste substance? Okay, Li Wei say. Any material that contain biohazardous substance or any equipment. Okay. Any other answer? Ada jawapan lain? Can you give some example, Lik Wei? Can you give some example for biological waste substance? Any material that contain biohazardous substance or any equipment such as? Okay, you continue a bit. Actually, the example you can see down here. Okay, for example, microbes. Any more? Example of sharp equipment. Can you give one example of sharp equipment? Okay, for example, needle for sharp equipment, okay, such as needle, scalpel, and then non-sharp equipment, for example, shrink, and then carcasses, organ, animal carcasses, and also liquid, for example, blood. Okay, you can add up the answer. So the answer is any material that contain biohazardous substance or any equipment such as shrink, okay, culture medium, animal carcasses, needle, and blood. Okay, I share to you the answer, the recommended answer for this one. It is biological waste, okay, that can cause harm or danger. Harm or danger mean hazardous lah, berbahaya. Okay, such as shrink, okay, needle, cultural medium, animal carcasses, and blood. Okay, you can write this answer for question A. What is meant by biological waste substance? You can write the answer written by liquid A. Any material that contain biohazardous substances or any equipment such as shrink, needle, wrong spelling for needle, there's supposed to be needle. Okay, needle, cultural medium, animal carcasses, and blood. Or you can write my answer as well. Biological waste that can cause harm or danger. Okay, such as shrink, needle, cultural medium, animal carcasses, and blood. Okay, so you can write the answer in your if can you try to find an A4 paper, or you can write at the back of the question paper if you print out this module. If you didn't print out, you can write also the answer in your exercise book as well, no problem. Okay. So are you all done with A, students? The meaning of biological waste substance. Sudah habis tulis answer for A? Can we move to question B now? Okay, done with A? Boys, girls? Okay, so if you're done with A, let us know. Okay, very good, Fangsun. Thank you for responding. Okay, now let's check on B. So again, A, what is meant by biological substance? It is any material contain biohazardous substances or any equipment such as shrink, needle, cultural medium, animal carcasses, and blood. Okay, and then for B, they give you diagram. Okay, diagram 3 shows 4 categories of waste substance. Okay, so these are the 4 categories, namely as sharp equipment. Okay, sharp equipment, as I mentioned just now, we can put needle, scalpel, knife under sharp equipment. And then we have non-sharp equipment, for example, shrink, okay, and then any equipment used in the laboratory which is not sharp, okay, and then carcasses and organ. Carcasses mean dead animal, okay, dead animal. For example, we did an experiment on frog, okay, on insects, so that was called as carcasses, and then organ, okay. Organ mean internal part of animal or human body. And then the fourth category is liquid. Okay, liquid can be either blood or acid, okay, or alkali, any solution, okay, we use in the laboratory. Okay, then the question asks you to explain, okay, explain the disposal method for waste substance category A and D. Students, for all types of waste substance here, there are special methods, special SOP, how to dispose them. Okay, we cannot simply dispose them by throw them directly into the bin. Ada cara yang tertentu. Okay, for example, how to dispose sharp equipment, how to dispose non-sharp equipment, how to dispose animal carcasses and organ, how to dispose liquid substances. Okay, so they ask you to explain disposal method for waste substance. Explain, okay, disposal method for waste substance category A and D. So we focus on A and D only. A is sharp equipment and D is liquid. Okay, so how to dispose sharp equipment? How to dispose liquid? Okay, you can check on your module or notes for last year. Ini senang saja. Sharp equipment cannot throw directly into the bin, very dangerous. It can cut those who pick up dust waste later on. Okay, morning Jun Kai, good morning. Okay, if you have the answer, you can type in the in-call message here so others can see and also can give ideas on how to dispose sharp equipment and liquid. Okay. Okay, come on everyone, I'm waiting for your answer. Macam mana nak buang peralatan yang tajam, liquid, nak tuang dekat mana? Can we spill directly into the sink? Or how can we dispose the liquid substance? Okay. I give you a few seconds or a few minutes to discover the answer for this disposal method for substances in category A, sharp material, and substances in category D, which is liquid. Kalau you tak ingat, you boleh refer back your blue workbook form 4. Buku tahun lepas warna biru kan. Okay. Ada simpan lagi ke? Workbook form 4. Okay, no answer yet. Anyone would like to try? How to dispose sharp material, sharp equipment? So this one, if you want to answer this kind of question, okay, you can also put them into table, no problem. Kamu boleh jawab dalam bentuk jadual juga. You draw a table of 2 column like this. Okay, and then on the first column, you write disposal method for sharp equipment. Okay, you write here disposal method of sharp equipment. Okay, equipment. And then here disposal method for liquid. Disposal method for liquid. No problem to write on table. Okay, for liquid. Okay, and then you write a point here. Okay, this one also. So for sharp material, how can we expose sharp equipment? First, we must place them into biohazard case. Okay, cikgu jawablah dekat sini. Ini first point. Place into biohazard. Okay, biohazard case. Simpan dalam bekas biohazard. Okay. And then second, it's not need to be autoclave. Dia tak perlu dinyakuman. Cannot autoclave. Does not necessary to be autoclave. Okay, sharp equipment. And then the container stored in the safe place before disposal. Okay, place the case. The case ini, this one lah, the biohazard case. Okay, place the store in safe place. Simpan bekas dalam tempat yang selamat sebelum dibuang. In safe place before disposal. Okay, so I hope you are writing all this point. This is how we dispose. This is the disposal method for sharp equipment. Okay, you can write any two. Dia 4 markah. 4 markah mean at least you write 4 points. Okay. If you write more, no problem, but don't write less. Okay, don't write less than 4 method. Okay, so for sharp equipment, you can write 2 method. Either you write place into biohazard case. Second, you can write not autoclave. Okay, AUTOCLAVED. And then number 3, this is an additional point. Place the case in safe place before disposal. Letak dia di tempat yang selamat sebelum dibuang. So you can write any 2 of these 3 points. Okay, and then for category D. Category D is liquid. Okay, we have variety types of liquid. For example, blood. Okay, as I mentioned just now, it may be liquid from acid or alkali or any liquid we are using in our laboratory experiment. Okay, so for liquid, for blood, okay, for blood, okay, I write here. Okay, for blood, okay, how to dispose blood? Yesterday we have discussed in paper 1 if you remember. Okay, for blood liquid, it must be decontaminated by autoclave. Okay, this is the first method. Decontaminated. Decontaminated. Decontaminated is to kill the bacteria the germs contain in. Okay, decontaminated by autoclave. Okay, decontaminated by autoclave. Okay, this is the first method. And then for a liquid, okay, which we use in the laboratory, we can dispose directly. Okay, if the liquid is not highly acidic or highly alkaline, we can dispose directly into the sink. Okay, disposed directly into a sink. Okay, this. So decontaminated by autoclave. This is for blood. Okay, and for non-blood, disposed directly into the sink. Okay, for example, a weak acid and weak alkali solution. Okay, so 4 marks. Okay, 4 marks. Remember, 4 marks at least 4 points. You write 2 points for sharp equipment and then 2 points for liquid. Alright. Okay, are you done with B, students? Again, you can answer B in a form of table. No problem. Okay. So by this, very easy for the marker to see your point, to see what are you writing on. Okay. Try to avoid to answer in paragraph. Okay, if you don't want to use a table, you answer separately. Okay, disposal of sharp equipment, and then you write number 1, number 2, number 3, and also later below that disposal method for liquid. Okay, number 1, number 2, and so on. Okay, so now let's check on question C. This is an essay which allocates 6 marks. Okay, now they ask you to describe. Okay, describe the effect of improper disposal of biological waste on human and environment. You kena ceritakan, terangkan, huraikan. Kalau huraikan ini selalu dia lebih panjang daripada explanation. Okay, question on description, normally we write more compared to explanation. That's why the marks also higher. So for description, 6 mark mean you write 3 point and 3 explanation. Okay, 3 point and 3 explanation. Okay, so any idea? This question is more open. You can describe any negative effect, okay, any bad effect or any negative effect of improper disposal of biological waste on human and environment. So this one you can highlight, okay. Effect of improper disposal of biological waste on human and environment. Any idea student, what is the effect? Apa kesan yang boleh kita dapat? As I mentioned, for 6 mark, we write 3 point and 3 explanation. Okay. So you can refer to this chart. Sharp equipment, if you didn't dispose properly, what do you think might happen to human or environment? Carcasses, organ, if you didn't dispose properly, apa yang akan berlaku? Okay, this one also, if you don't dispose properly, what will happen? So you may refer to this diagram to help you to answer question C. Boleh guna gambar di atas sebagai panduan bagi idea kamu nak jawab. Okay, anyone? Yang pertama boleh menyebabkan apa? The first one, it can cause danger, boleh mendatangkan bahaya. Okay, so you can write your first point. Number 1, bring danger to human. Okay, I share the answer here in the chat. Chat room. Okay, number 1, they bring danger or harmful. Okay, danger or harmful to human. For example, okay, that is the first point, bring danger or bring harmful to human. And then for the explanation, for example, you can write sharp tools, sharp equipment such as needles and scalpel. Scalpel ini the doctor's knife, okay, the one that they use when they have to cut, okay, when they used to do surgery or operation. Needle and scalpel blades can cause serious injury if tap on it. Kalau kamu terpijak, you buang jarum, you buang pisau scalpel itu merata-rata, it can cause danger when you step on it. Bila kamu terpijak, boleh menyebabkan kecederaan yang serius. Okay, so bring danger or harmful to human, for example, sharp equipment such as needles and scalpel blades can cause injury if step on it. So this is the first description, first point and first explanation. Okay, what else? What another bad effect it can bring other than bring danger or harmful to human? Okay, any idea? Blood, for example, okay, blood or carcasses, if you throw anywhere, kalau you buang merata-rata bangkai haiwan ataupun darah, apa yang boleh berlaku? Okay, it can cause Causes what? Causes transmission of diseases. Okay, transmission of diseases. Boleh menyebabkan penyakit tersebar. Okay, and you can explain this happens when residual substances such as animal carcasses in contaminated blood, okay, are not disposed according to the proper procedure. Okay, so this is the second point. It can cause transmission of disease. Okay, this happens, so this is the explanation, when residual substance such as animal carcasses and contaminated blood, okay, darah yang sudah tercemar, are not disposed according to the proper procedure. Okay, so far we collect 4 marks there. So the 5th and 6th mark, how to collect, this one you can get from your third point. Okay, point yang ketiga, okay, apa lagi yang boleh menyebabkan? Okay, number 1 and number 2 is effect on human. Okay, so number 3 we can write effect on the environment. Remember, you have to write the effects on human and environment. Okay, so number 3, very easy, you can say it causes environmental pollution. Dia boleh menyebabkan pencemaran alam sekitar. Causes environmental pollution. How? Okay, so again the reason this happen when residual. Okay, residual ini bahan sisa. Okay, residual such as tissue and glove or disposed everywhere. You buang rata-rata tisu, sarung tangan. Okay, so this is an example, causes environmental pollution. This happen when residuals such as tissue and glove are disposed everywhere. You buang rata-rata. Okay, sama juga if contaminated blood disposed directly into the drainage. Kalau you buang darah directly buang ke dalam longkang, sama juga dia akan menyebabkan berlakunya pencemaran alam sekitar. Okay, so again this is how we answer question C. When you are asked to describe, remember when you are asked to describe, you can give the point and then later the explanation for each point. Okay, don't write the point only without explanation. You will get half mark by then. Okay, so to get the full mark, write the point and follow by explanation. So for 6 mark, 3 point and 3 explanation at least. Okay, you can give more, you can give 4 or 5 points. So the minimum is 3 point and 3 explanation. Okay. So that goes with question 3, students. So we have discussed it is focused on disposal method. Okay, disposal method of biological waste and what is the effect if we do improper disposal of them. Kita belajar macam mana cara yang betul nak buang, okay, berdasarkan kepada kategori yang tertentu. And then apa kesan buruk yang you boleh dapat kalau kita buang dengan cara yang salah. Okay, effect on human or environment as well. Okay, so are you done with number 3? Can we proceed with question 4, students? Okay, can we proceed with question 4? So question 4, we are back on personal protective equipment. Okay, thank you Fang Sun. Okay, personal protective equipment. Can you name some of personal protective equipment? Boleh tak kamu namakan beberapa contoh alat perlindungan diri di dalam makmal? Okay, can you name some personal protective equipment? Bila you masuk makmal, when you carry out experiment, what is the example of personal protective equipment you can put on? Okay, first, you can put the laboratory coat makmal, boleh pakai coat makmal. And then, how about the shoe? What type of shoe you supposed to wear when you are entering a laboratory? What kind of shoe? Normally, we must wear enclosed shoe, kasut yang bertutup. Tak boleh pakai slipper, tak boleh pakai sandal. Okay, enclosed shoe. And then what else? Glove. Okay, we can use rubber glove. Okay, and then don't forget the face mask and also the goggle, okay, to protect our eyes from dangerous chemical. Okay, these are few example of personal protective equipment. Okay, then dia tanya apa maksud, okay, what is the meaning? What is meant by personal protective equipment? Okay, again, this is a construct on remembering, mengingat. 2 marks, 2 markah. Apa maksud? So what is meant by personal protective equipment? Anyone? Anyone would like to share the answer? Daripada nama dia tu pun you boleh bagi tahu jawapan. Apakah maksud alat perlindungan diri, personal protective equipment? Mestilah untuk melindungi, alat untuk melindungi. It must be equipment to protect you. Protect you from what? Protect you from what? Anyone? I share to you the answer here. Okay, what is meant by personal protective equipment? It is a safety equipment. Okay, safety equipment which designed to protect, okay, the person from the risk of injury or infection at their workplace. Dia adalah alat, okay, alat keselamatan yang direka untuk melindungi kamu, melindungi seseorang daripada risiko kecederaan dan jangkitan semasa di tempat kerja. Okay. Safety equipment which designed to protect the person from the risk of injury and infection at their workplace. So this is the definition for personal protective equipment. Okay. And the example as I give you earlier, goggle, face mask, lab coat. Okay, if you are doing work at the construction site, then you need a helmet to put on the head. Okay, and then cover shoe, glove, and so on. Okay, so now let us check on the next question, B. Okay, question B. Okay, these are the example of protective equipment, personal protective equipment. This is the goggle. Okay, ini apa? Ini apa? Earphone. Sometimes bila you kerja di tempat yang sangat bising, you have to use this noise cancellation to cover your ear, to protect your ear from a very noise sound. So it will protect you from becoming deaf. Kalau tidak, mungkin boleh menyebabkan kamu menjadi pekak. Kalau hari-hari you exposed to a very loud sound, it can damage your eardrum. Okay, and then this one is a rubber glove. So again, diagram 4 shows a few personal protective equipment. This is only small part of it. So the question is, based on the above diagram, berdasarkan gambar di atas, build a concept of personal protective equipment. Your answer must include the following aspect. Okay, so you are asked to build a concept, okay, of personal protective equipment. Okay, student, how we can build a concept for personal protective equipment? So you must follow the aspect given. Number 1, identify information from the above diagram. Okay, identify information from the above diagram. So, apa yang you nampak dekat sini? So, you can name, this is goggle. Okay, this is rubber glove. And then ini apa? Ini ear plug. Okay, ataupun kita panggil dia ear muff. Okay, this one is goggle. G-O-G-G-L-E. Goggle. Okay, this one rubber glove. Okay, rubber glove. Okay, and then this one is ear plug. We call it as ear plug, pelindung telinga. Okay, or sometimes it's called as ear muff. So what information you can get here? So you can say goggle, ear plug and rubber glove are personal protective equipment. They are example of personal protective equipment. Ini cara kita nak tulis maklumat, what information we can get from the table. So you see this diagram, you understand. Goggle, ear plug and rubber glove are example of personal protective equipment. So you write there. Okay, tuliskan dekat buku kamu. Goggle. Google jangan ija macam ini ini Google. Ini search engine. Ditulis macam ini salah, wrong spelling. Sebab dia benda yang lain, Google. So G-O-G-G-double-G. Goggle, ear plug and rubber glove. Okay, rubber glove are examples of personal protective equipment. Okay, personal protective equipment. Okay. Okay, and then number 2. So done with number 1. We have identified the information from the above diagram. It tells us that goggle, earplug and rubber glove are example of personal protective equipment. Okay. And then for number 2. For number 2, now you have to identify 2 common characteristic. Okay, you kena kenal pasti. Apa 2 ciri yang sepunya? Apa persamaan? Okay, common characteristic of the personal protective equipment. Okay, mean goggle, earplug, rubber glove, apa dia punya persamaan? Kita pakai dia untuk apa? Okay, you can take it like that. So any idea how to write? Common characteristic of personal protective equipment. Okay. So dia minta berapa? Dia minta 2. Okay, you have to identify. So you tulislah yang pertama apa idea, you write in number or you can write a dash. Okay, so number 1. Apa persamaan ketiga-tiga itu? Can protect individual from injury. So number 1 you can say protect individual or a person. Okay, protect a person from injury, for example. Okay, protect a person from injury. Second, dia boleh buat apa lagi? Okay, you can say protect a person from infection, for example. Okay, protect a person from injury ataupun sini infection. Okay, and then down here second point, protect a person at their workplace. Okay, so these are the two common characteristics for glove, goggle, and earplug. Number one, protect a person from injury or infection. Second, protect a person at their workplace. Melindungi individu daripada bahaya ataupun sebarang jangkitan. Yang kedua, melindungi individu di tempat kerja mereka. Okay, so these are the two common characteristics. One mark for each. Okay, and then number three, they ask you to give one other example of personal protective equipment and one non-example of personal protective equipment. You kena bagi satu lagi contoh alat perlindungan diri dan satu lagi bukan contoh. Bukan contoh mean apa-apa yang bukan alat perlindungan diri. Okay, any substance which is not considered as personal protective equipment. So you tulislah apa contoh. Okay, so you tulis juga macam ini. Number one, or you can write a dash. Other example. Okay, what else you can write? Other than goggle, earplug, and then glove, you boleh tulis juga lab coat macam cikgu bagi tahu tadi. Okay, lab coat, laboratory coat. Okay, lab coat, LABCOAT. Apa lagi? Helmet. Okay, apa lagi you boleh tuliskan? Okay, covered shoe, kasut yang bertutup. And then you boleh tuliskan lagi face mask. Okay, face mask and etc. Okay, bagi contoh yang lain. And then ini non-example, tuliskan di bawah dia. Non-example. You tulis apa-apa sajalah yang bukan alat keselamatan. Okay, slipper. Okay, how to write slipper? Sandal. You tuliskan sandal. Okay, and then apa lagi? Shirt, baju biasa saja. Okay, ini semua bukan protective. Tie, tali leher. Ini bukan alat keselamatan. Ini you boleh tulis apa-apa saja yang bukan alat keselamatan. Spectacles. Spectacle ini bukan alat keselamatan. Okay, you can write anything which are not considered as personal protective equipment. So dapatlah 2 markah dekat sana for other example and for non-example. Okay. And then number 4. Okay, number 4 we have to build up our concept. We have come to the final part of this question. Okay, dia kata you have to relate the common characteristic to build a concept of personal protective equipment. Okay, macam mana you nak kaitkan ni? Senang saja. So whatever you write here for the common characteristic, okay, you write back. Okay, you write back at number 4. So if you want to build a concept, student, concept of personal protective equipment, mean we must begin our answer with this. Okay, let's say they ask you to build a concept of photosynthesis. So your answer must be started from photosynthesis is a what? Okay, if they ask you to build a concept on respiration, okay, so respiration is what? If they ask you to build a concept on biological waste, so example, so you must begin your answer with why biological waste is what, and what. Okay, so here we begin our answer with personal protective equipment. Okay, personal protective equipment is adalah apa? Personal protective equipment is a apa? Dia adalah alat. Okay, it's a device, it's an equipment, or it's a device, or you can say it is a tools, or you can say it is an equipment which, and then you write back your point here, which number 1, protect a person from injury or infection, and protect, write the second one, second point, a person at their workplace. Okay, this is how we come up with the concept. Okay, I repeat, you begin your answer with this statement. Personal protective equipment is a device, or is a tools, or is an equipment, and then you write your common factor here, which protect a person from injury, infection, and at their workplace. Ini you boleh combine lah, kalau dalam bahasa you boleh combine. Okay, personal protective equipment is a device or a tool or any equipment which protect a person from injury or infection and protect a person at their workplace. Okay. Ini boleh sambunglah, tuliskan sekali saja sebab sini dua-dua protect. Okay. So I repeat again the concept. Personal protective equipment is a device or a tools or any equipment which protect a person from injury, infection, and at their workplace. Okay. So I hope you are clear how is the format on writing a concept, on building a concept. Okay. And then question C, the last question here, you have to state 2 types of fire extinguisher and explain their function. Okay, we go back to the question yesterday. State 2 types of fire extinguisher and explain their function. Okay, macam mana nak explain their function? So 2 types, okay. So we have 4 types. Ingat kita ada 4 types of fire extinguisher. You can choose to answer any 2 types. Okay, so first kita ada apa? Kita ada first type. So you write a number. Okay, first we have water type. Okay, water type fire extinguisher. So water type can extinguish which type of fire? Boleh menyebabkan kebakaran yang disebabkan oleh apa? Okay, so you write here to extinguish, untuk memadamkan. Okay, to extinguish. Okay, to extinguish fire involving what? You boleh tengok nota. Involving solid. Okay, yang disebabkan oleh solid material. Okay, solid material such as, bagi contoh, such as apa? Paper or wood. Paper or wood. Kebakaran yang disebabkan oleh solid material, for example, paper or wood. So 1 mark for the type, 1 mark for functions. Okay, and then second, other than water type, what else we have? We have dry powder, for example. You can write dry powder. Okay, dry powder fire extinguisher. Ini yang jenis serbuk. Okay, extinguisher. Dry powder fire extinguisher. Okay, what is the purpose? Ini boleh padam kebakaran jenis apa? Okay, again you can say, ini idea, ini can distinguish with type of fire. To extinguish fire, sama juga. involving metals and non-metals. Okay, dia banyak extinguish fire involving metals and non-metals. Okay, nombor 3, you boleh tulis apa lagi? Number 3. Okay, we have foam. Ini the third type. Foam fire extinguisher. Okay, foam type boleh guna untuk padam kebakaran jenis apa? To extinguish what sources of fire? Extinguish fire, jawab samalah depan dia, to extinguish fire involving what? Involving liquid. Okay, or gas involving flammable. Liquid or gas. Yang ini maksud dia sama to extinguish fire involving. Okay, to extinguish fire involving flammable liquid or gas. But in the exam you don't write this way. Okay, cikgu cuma buat shortcut saja di sini because I don't have enough spaces. But during the exam you don't write this symbol. Okay, write the full answer. To extinguish fire involving flammable liquid and gas. Okay, and then we have number 4. The fourth type is apa? CO2, carbon dioxide fire extinguisher. Okay, so the fourth type is carbon dioxide fire extinguisher. Okay, carbon dioxide used to distinguish which type of fire, student. Okay, so I repeat again, ini the symbol to extinguish fire involving apa? Caused by electrical appliances. Okay, for example, electrical appliances. Kebakaran yang disebabkan oleh peralatan elektrik. Electrical appliances, gas, and vapor. Okay, this one. So water type, to extinguish fire involving solid material such as paper or wood. Second, dry powder, to extinguish fire caused by involving metal and non-metal. And then number 3, foam fire extinguisher is used to extinguish fire involving flammable liquid or gas. And the fourth type, carbon dioxide, used to extinguish fire which are caused by electrical appliances, gas, and vapor. Okay, so I hope you can complete all the answer for essay question number 3 and number 4 in section C. If you miss any part of this lesson, don't worry, later you can refer back to this video and then write the full answer as well. Okay, so any other question? Ada apa nak tanya? So I hope you are clear when you are dealing with this kind of question during the exam. So I hope you remember how to solve them correctly. Okay, yang penting jangan hafal jawapan, you kena faham, especially the format of writing. Okay, how to answer explanation type of question, how to answer description type of question. Okay. So if you don't have any further questions, so I think that's all for today. So tomorrow we continue with doing a few more questions on chapter 1. Okay, so by next week we can start it with chapter 2 for form 4. Okay, again, thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for present and thank you very much for your cooperation. Teacher really appreciate that. Okay, so students, see you again tomorrow. Jumpa lagi esok. Belajar rajin-rajin, jaga diri. Tak lama lagi boleh balik sekolah. Okay, kita tunggu saja arahan from the Kementerian and JPN. Okay, bye-bye for now. See you tomorrow. Thank you everyone. Okay, have a nice day to you too. Thank you.